there's a few depending on the use case and the user. I would say probably one of the most significant drivers of change has been the benefit in kind taxation rates. So these were set very low, which has really driven the uptake of battery electric vehicles that have been chosen by a number of company car drivers. But it's also been instrumental in the growth of salary sacrifice schemes, where we've seen a number of people potentially in the sort of lower 20% tax band who have now taken an EV who ordinarily wouldn't have been able to afford it. I think regulation has also been a nudge towards people opting for an electric vehicle. So if we look at some of our commercial vehicle fleets, it's in areas where we've got the ultra low emission zone in London and the clean air zones that are dotted across the country, where we've seen the fleets making the transition with those drivers, going first. But also one of the other regulations was obviously the government setting the phase out dates. So again, we've seen a number of fleets really wanting to accelerate their uptake of EVs and almost try and beat that 2030 deadline with, them saying that they're going to go 100% electric ahead of then. I think there are also new business models that are proving really popular, that are shifting behaviour, whether that's electric car clubs or EV subscription models. And then I think, you can't not recognise the escalating fuel costs. So I think we'll probably see a number of other people who start to really balance up whether a BEV is going to be viable for them, and look at where they can make those cost savings. When we look at public charging, which we know a number of fleets are going to be heavily reliant on, we have seen rapid charging, growth in charging. So if you look at the last 5 years between 2016 and 2020, we've seen a fourfold increase. So from 6,500 to 28,000 devices, and then from 2021 into 2020 to 2021. This then grew again by 36% with an additional 7,500 charge points added, and they are growing daily. So, it's constantly moving and evolving, and it's getting better all the time. Vehicle technology is also improving as well. So I know that there's, some of the later models that are now coming onto the market can go from 0 to 80% in sort of less than 20 minutes. So I think, that's going to change things as well. I think when we look at fleet and fleet charging needs, I don't think these have been fully understood until recently. We did some research earlier this year where we produced a fleet charging guide, which was designed to really help policymakers understand the diversity of fleets use cases, the type of charging that's going to be likely to be required, and then which also highlighted some of the challenges that we still do need to overcome, particularly around van accessible charge points, where often we find that the bays are too small, or if there's a nearby car park that offers charging, there's height restrictions and things like that. So there are still challenges that need to be overcome. Having said that, I think, there is a strong desire from a number of the organisations that are involved in the deployment of charging solutions, and also from government, both local and national, to work with fleets to ensure that their needs are being met. And I think the key here is really collaboration. The more that the charge point providers and the local authorities understand what it is in terms of what fleets need, where does that charging need to be, and what type of charging, then they can do more to act and make sure that, we do have the full range of charging options that is going to make sure that fleet users' needs are being met. It's also an area where, we've seen more government intervention. So government recently announced that they would be mandating a 99% reliability standard. There are still issues with reliability. I think that will go a long way to providing that really important consumer confidence. Ease of payment. So again, the government mandating that charge points have to be able to take credit and debit card payments, but also offering to sort of step in if we don't see progress with a roaming solution that's going to be needed by fleets as well. So yeah, I think, we're going to see many more local authorities taking on the responsibility in developing EV infrastructure plans, and definitely see a willingness of them to work increasingly with fleets.